This is the video for the Chapter 1, Part 2 quiz review. This is problems 7, 8, 9, and 10. The directions are to solve the quadratic equation by factoring. Starting out, the first one, number 7, we have 4x squared minus 2 equals negative 7x. So our goal here will be to solve using factoring, not the quadratic formula. That doesn't mean you can't check it with the quadratic formula if you need to, but we need to solve using factoring. So we have this first one. We need to first get it into standard form so we can factor it. So we're going to move the 7x over, right? We're going to add it to each side. So what we're looking at here is 4x squared plus 7x minus 2 is equal to 0. All right, and since we've got, the 4, 7, and 2, we're going to look at it here. It doesn't look like there is a greatest common factor outside of 1. So for this one, maybe we'll go ahead and use our generic rectangle just to factor it. So we've got 4x squared. We've got negative 2, we multiply them, we get negative 8x squared. In the bottom, we've got 7x. Now we're looking for factors of negative 8 that will add to 7. So we're going to say that would be, what is that? 8 and 1, right? So we've got 8x and then a negative x. So we'll take that and we'll put those in here. We've got 8x and we've got a negative x. Our greatest common factor from this column is going to be 4x, which means this would have to be just an x here. 4x times 2 gives us 8x, and then x times negative 1 gives us our negative x, and then everything else seems to check out. So we'll take it, we will factor this trinomial. We had 4x minus 1, and we had x plus 2. And then we'll set each of those equal to 0 and solve them. So we'll get x is equal to 1/4, and we'll get x is equal to negative 2. And you could take each of those and plug them back in to check to make sure that it makes your original equation true. For time's sake, you don't want to have to watch me do that, so we will just verify here. X equals 1/4 and x equals negative 2. All right, let's move on to number 8. Okay, number 8, we have 3x squared plus 27x minus 108 equals 0. So this one's already in standard form. And if we look at it, we can kind of see here that our 3, our 27, and our negative 108 are all divisible by 3. So we'll factor out our 3 first. So I'm going to say 3, and what's left over is x squared plus 9x. And then 3 goes into 108, let's see, it'll be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 times, I believe. So, no, it's got to be more than that, right? It's 36 times, sorry. So minus 36. And then that still equals 0. All right, so now what we need to do is look to see, can we factor that? So since it's just an x squared, right, and we have this negative 36, that tells us then we're going to be looking for factors of 36 that have a difference of 9. So when I think about that, right, I know that one's got to be positive, one's got to be negative. And I know that 12 times 3 is 36, and 12 minus 3 is 9. So it looks like we're going to need a positive 12 here and a negative 3 there. That way, when we have 12x and negative 3x, we'll get that positive 9x left over. As we look to solve it, we'll just take our x plus 12, set it equal to 0, and x minus 3 and set it equal to 0. Remember, that's called the zero product property. Then we'll subtract our 12 from each side. We get x equals negative 12, and then we get x equals positive 3. And those are going to end up being our correct answers. Again, plug it back in to check it. Number 9, we have y squared plus 7y minus 6y equals 42. All right, so before we go through and start to solve and factor in things, we need to get it to that standard form. We see here that we have like terms, so let's go ahead and combine those together. We have y squared plus y, and then if I subtract my 42, I'd have minus 42 is equal to 0. So looking to factor this, since it's just a y squared term, we're looking for factors of 42 that have a difference of 1. Well, I know that 6 times 7 is 42, so it looks like we're going to want a y plus 7 and a y minus 6. And we'll just take each of those, set them equal to 0, and finish solving. So y is equal to negative 7 and y is equal to positive 6. Those are the answers. Last one in this section, we have number 10, we have n times n minus 4 times n minus 3. Now, rather than taking it and multiplying this all together, remember we are already set up to use our zero product property, right? The hard part, the factoring, has already been done for you. So we're just going to take all three factors, set them equal to 0. We've got n equals 0, n minus 4 equals 0, and n minus 3 equals 0. So n equals 0, n equals 4, and n equals 3. That one I know is not a quadratic. It is a cubic, which we'll learn a little bit more about in the next chapter, but the zero product property still works the same. All right, that's problems 7, 8, 9, and 10 from the Chapter 1, Part 2 quiz review. If you have additional questions, please make sure you reach